Okay, I'm going to show you how to do your own color challenge template, supposing you want one that's square, for example. Inside Photoshop Elements, you can go to Expert Mode, and then go to New, Blank File, and make sure this is 72 dpi, that's perfect viewing resolution for the web, and maybe we'll do 900 by 900. Okay, a couple of things you're going to want to set up before you start is under under Edit, Preferences, General Preferences. Make sure you have Allow Floating Documents in Expert Mode. That will allow you to open new windows and they open in their own tiles. Now after you do that, if it doesn't work, you're going to need to just close out and go back in to have that work. You're also going to want to turn on your rulers. So in View, you want to view the rulers. So check that off, and you want to view the guides. Okay, so it says guides are on. So I'm going to do a guide right in the middle here. And let me tell you what that means. With the rulers on, you can have it show pixels or inches, or my favorite is percent, so that you know that's 40%, that's 60%, right in the middle is 50. You can put your own little margins, okay, for the edges. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. And then I'm going to pull down from the top. I'm just kind of giving it margins here. Okay, so we have our background here and it's locked, which is great. So we're going to start by adding a layer and dropping in a logo. I'm going to hit place, and we're just going to use my logo again, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to put my logo. So you have to click, this is a transparent GIF. You have to make sure you click on something that's not transparent. So since this is going to be square, I'm going to have my logo here, the title here, an image here, and then the color swatches next to it. So I'm going to take this layer, double click on the name, and I'm just going to call it logo so I know what layer I'm working in. And then go to layer, just hit new layer here, and I'm going to call this title. And I'm going to hit my text T. You can choose any font that you want. You're actually only limited by the number of fonts that you have. So it doesn't matter if you want to use the font. I think Garamond is my font. So I'll do that. And for a title, I actually kind of want something a lot bigger. So I've chosen the name, the size, the color is going to be black. You can change all of this if you want. And I'm going to call it July Color Challenge. I'm going to click on here so I can see it. And so I can make it bigger by dragging it bigger, but I think I'm just going to go in here with my text tool and selecting it again. And by the way, here's where I didn't show you, but I had it centered. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Make that 48. See what that looks like. Clicking it out. Yeah, that's good. Now I can go back and put I can make a new layer. Put a layer underneath it. And I don't want it to be 48 this time. I want it to be 36. And I want this to be Garamond Italic. And it's going to be my subheading. And I'm going to type in submit by July 29th. And then I'm going to click, and you can see it. Okay, and then it's kind of hard to eye up. I have it at 66%. So if you go to view, you can go to view actual pixels view. And here you go. Everything looks a lot clearer now. So I find it a little challenging to be pulling these around. It's kind of jagged for me. If you're having a lot of difficulty doing that, there's a couple of things that you could do. One, you can use the arrows on your keyboard by clicking this and then just taking your arrow and moving it down. Okay. You can add as much information on here as you want. But the other thing is, make sure under view that when you have the snap to, that you have guides and grid unchecked. You want to make those unchecked. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the photo that I want. So there's two ways I can do it. I can just drop the photo in anywhere I want, or I can create a smart object so that I can fit the photo into it, and it's every month the photo will fit in that box. So I'm going to start with the shape layer here, choosing rectangle, and it's on black with no border. This will be for the photo image. Click off here, and then that fills in, and I'm going to drop my first picture in. So I'm going to actually open it. I'm not going to place it. I'm going to open this up in a separate window. Okay. Now this is from the Stampin' Up! Samples given to us, and they are very high resolution. So I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to resize this, and actually I'm going to select it, make sure it's selected, and I am going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it X because I want to save that and not do anything bad to it. I want to make sure that this is. Now if you'll notice, that kind of disappeared for a minute when I duplicated it. Just know that you need to click on it and it will pop back up so that you could see it. So let's look at this image and look at the size. And for one, you want to make sure the resolution is 72 dpi. And it looks like I have already edited this because normally this is 300. So in that case, you would turn off resample, okay, and then make that 72, and then turn this back on. And the width of this, well, let's see, I think we made this 900 by 900. So we probably only want this like 500 or 600 pixels across. So let's do 600. Okay, and so now I'm going to click back in here, and clicking the shape layer, I want to make sure that when I drop this in, I drop this in to be just above the shape layer. So selecting this layer, going back into here, I'm going to drag this onto here, and then I'm going to click, and then you can see it. Okay, I'm going to grab my selection tool here, and I'm going to put this right on top. Okay, now I can still make this smaller if I wanted to. Okay, and then make sure that it completely covers the black check mark here. So now this layer is above it, and what I want to do is right click on it, and I don't know that you can see, so I'm going to pull this in. I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask. So now you'll see in a moment when I check this off, when I click on it, this is now inside that box. Okay? And then you can just, I want to see the top of this. I love the top of that, but then it cuts off the bottom of this. So you can go back to the shape, and you can pull this shape up a little so that you could then go to this layer. Oh, I have to hit this check mark. Now go back to this layer and then move that up a little so that we're seeing more of that. And then maybe clicking on this layer here, the logo layer, and I'm going to use my arrow keys. I'm going to use my arrow keys because when a lot of things are close together like that, it'll try to grab the wrong thing. Okay, so now I think we have it where we want it, right? Okay, we have it where we want it. So now we need the color swatches. So I'm just going to go to the top here. I'm going to click New Layer, and I'm going to create a shape. So, I mean, you can use a circle or a square or a rectangle, or you could do something really cool like custom shape. And you have shapes. These are the shapes, the defaults, which are kind of cool you can work with, like a butterfly for the spring. But you can do all element shapes, and then you've got more choices, like cats and dogs, and I kind of like the butterflies. I think I'm sticking with the butterfly. But there's also kind of like, there are some cool things like a chalk edge here. So I think maybe we'll do that. So I'm dropping that in. It doesn't matter. We're going to have that as black and unconstrained, which is fine. I'm going to hit the selection tool here, click off, and we have color number 1 right there. Okay, and then so shape 2 is actually going to be color number 1. Now I need a text layer above it. It could be above or below, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to put that text layer right on top, and I'm going to call it color 1 name. So this is going to be, like I said, a text layer. So with this layer selected, I'm going to go over to my text tool, and I'll make the color white, and I'm going to make it regular Garamond. Okay, 36 points. I think that should be okay. And then one last thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I have it on center. Maybe I'll bold it. Nope. Garamond regular. There's a Garamond bold. That's why it's not letting me bold the regular. Otherwise, you could normally do it from there. So I have all the colors selected. It's going to center, so I'm going to go in the center, and I'm going to say color, enter, and then name, and then check mark, and then it will show up. Oh wow. Okay. Go back, fix the A, and there you go. So we have color name. Okay, so we have color 1 and color name. And I'm going to select the 2 of them, and then I'm going to hit this little stack here that creates a group. And we're going to call this group color swatches. And then I'm going to right click on here, and I'm going to choose red. Okay, I don't know if you could see that or if it went off. Okay, I chose red, meaning all the layers that come in here are red. So you'll know that if you click it by accident, it'll delineate itself from another one. So I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to duplicate the layers, and then it made copies. I'm going to select these 2. I'm going to actually just move these down, and then with these 2, these are the copies. You could see color layer. With these 2 selected, I'm going to use my arrow key to pull these down. Okay, and so they're exactly one above the other, and so we have the second one. Click on that again, and so we're going to call it color 2 name, and then color number 2. Okay, and then I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to duplicate the layers, and then with them selected, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to call it color 3 name, and then color number 3. So color 3, color name 3. Two selected. I'm going to use my arrow key again and pull these down. Yes, you're hearing a kitten cry in the background. Life is unfair. I'm not letting him on my desk. Okay, so I think that they're about equal distance. Great. So I'm not going to worry at the moment about these three. I've got color number 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to click on color swatches, and it's got all three together here. I'm going to, whoops. Oh, okay. So let's edit, undo. Undo that nudge. Okay, they're all together. So these two, I made copies of them, but for some reason they don't appear to be, well, I guess they are in the folder. All three of them should be in the folder, but they don't appear to be. Okay, so I'm going to grab these two, and I'm going to pull them up under color swatches and move them down. So they should now be in. Yep, now they're all in. So I don't know how they ended up outside of it. And then I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make them a little bit smaller. So because I've got the group layer selected, I now have a bounding box around all of them, and anything that I do to it, it will happen as if it's one element. So I just made it a little bit smaller. I'm going to click off that check mark here, and there you go. Color names. So I'm going to open up color swatches again and start with color number 1. The first color is going to be mossy, enter meadow, check mark, click, yay. And then back up here, color number 1, this is the color layer. I'm going to click on that little smart object here. Mossy Meadow is 5C6B2B. And if you saw my other video, okay, if you saw my other video, you'll know that in the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator section, it's the resources for the catalog. One of the things are the hex codes for all of Stampin' Up's colors. Okay, so let's go to color number 2, the text layer. Grab my text tool. My second color is going to be Petal Pink, and that is Petal, enter pink, check mark. I really don't like it that I don't see it immediately, like as I'm typing it, but I don't think there's anything. You know, let me know if it works for you. It might just be a lag on my computer. I don't know. And I'm going to grab this little square here, double click. Petal Pink is FCC EB6. Whoops. Oh, 6, 7 to 6. Okay, and then we have Petal Pink. And now Petal Pink, the white is not really seeable. So let's go back and grab color number 2 text layer there. And I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go to the color choice here and choose black. Then check, and there we go. Third color name, color 3 text mode. Grab the text tool. The color for the third one is going to be So Saffron. And before I hit the check mark, I know I'm going to want this to be black. So I'm choosing black, and then I'm clicking, and so Saffron should have disappeared. It did not. Let me fix that one more time. With it selected, I'm going to choose black, and there you go, it disappeared. Color number 3, clicking on that, and So Saffron is FFDA8D. And here we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And there you go. You have your color challenge. You're going to, you can save it as, I'm going to call it Square Color Challenge, PSD file. You know what? Maybe I will make this also available for you as an alternative to the portrait one that I've made. This will only have 3 choices. Obviously, you could make a 4th one, make these smaller, duplicate the last one, but you're welcome to this one as well. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to export this for web. Now it won't let me. Why is that not a choice? File, save for web. I'm seeing 44%, which is okay. So it was originally 2 megabytes, which is 2,000 kilobytes, or 105 kilobytes. I like to keep things at about 50 kilobytes, but my experiences with this is my logo is not that great and it's not going to look clear. This does look a little jagged, but when I drop it in and I make it smaller in WordPress, it will look better. So I'm going to save this as it is. Square color challenge. There you go, and then you upload it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Ask in the group or leave a comment below. Take care. I'll see you on the flip side.